Let's just start this episode by saying that technology is undefeated. People were leery of electricity in the 1920s. They were leery of the internet in the 1990s. They were completely against MySpace and social media in the early 2000s. And online dating? Wow, that was definitely a no-no. And now we have Web 3.0 or AI. It is transforming technology and business at a pace that makes those other innovations jealous. We've seen this play out before. Technology doesn't care about your feelings, it just races on. Does it have potential downside? Of course. All technology does. But that doesn't mean all the bad things are going to happen, especially if good people jump in and get involved, and so long as we have plenty of competition amongst providers. I'd be more scared than anybody if the government controlled AI as they do in China, but this is the US. And we don't work that way. So, with that said, let's dig into your hesitancy to implement AI in your business. I'm Annie Rind, and I'm that farm girl who brings you actionable solutions in 6 minutes or so every Monday here on the 1001 Business Problems Solved with Microsoft Teams podcast. It has been said that AI will not take your job, but people who learn to use AI will. The same sentiment applies to business owners. Businesses who leverage AI are going to take your business if you don't. Have you ever seen that technology adoption bell curve? You know, the one that has the innovators and early adopters on the left, the majority in the middle, and the laggards on the right? This bell curve perfectly illustrates how technology is enthusiastically snatched up by the innovators. Those are the people who wait hours in line to buy the latest iPhone when if they just waited a couple weeks, they could pick them up in minutes. Then, there are the early adopters. They're the ones who get the technology not because of the coolness of the product, but because of the usefulness to their businesses. The benefits are promising, so they get creative and gain a competitive advantage over their competitors by using the technology strategically. Then, you get into the early and late majorities. They're the tall part of the bell curve. They only adopt the technology because the people ahead of them in the cycle are giving them social proof that the technology works well. Then, at the far right, you have the super latecomers, the laggards. They're the people who would still be using rotary dial phones if anybody still made them. With AI, we are past the innovators at the beginning of the curve. Now, we've almost blown through the early adopters phase. There's still time to gain a real competitive advantage on competition, but that window is closing fast. It is almost to the point now that simply using AI is no longer an advantage. It's becoming the cover charge just to do business. It won't be long until the ROI on AI is just being relevant in the business world. Elon Musk has said multiple times that AI is going to scale the economy by thousands of times compared to current levels. Whatever your thoughts on Elon Musk, and I think he's a brilliant human being, he has an almost perfect track record in the business world. I'm sure you are quite smart in your own right, but if you're petrified of AI, you've got to consider that technology marches along whether you like it or not. Since you're listening to a podcast that focuses on using Microsoft products strategically in business, I imagine you use Microsoft. If you do, dipping your toes in AI could not be easier. You can play with the free version that comes with any Microsoft 365 business license. But the paid version is not scary at all, and it won't break the bank. It is about $30 per month. We recommend clients who want to get started simply get the paid Copilot license for the most innovative person on the leadership staff. We like to recommend leadership because if you aren't convinced your business files and communications are rock solid in their permissions and access, you could experience some issues. If you get that one license for only $30 per month, you have a trusted and innovative employee playing with the benefits Copilot gives individual users. That alone will give you immediate ROI. I'll talk more about that next week. Here at County Quest, our first $30 license paid for itself in the first hour. I'll also tell how that happened next week, so be sure to tune in. Worried about AI exposing your data? You don't need to worry much about Copilot doing that because Copilot respects all your internal permissions and your company information stays internal. It doesn't use your data to improve their model or to help your competitors. Now, about that situation where you're not convinced your permissions and access are rock solid across your environment, that's going to be a problem when you introduce Copilot to the rest of your knowledge workers and potentially others. Copilot is great at mining information in your files and communications, and that is where its real power lies. Security is important to keep external parties out, but security is very important internally as well, and Copilot will mine from everything an employee isn't barred from seeing. Organizing and securing everything internally sounds quite overwhelming, and I try to help you along throughout all our podcast episodes. But if you want to hit the ground running with Copilot and AI, our OMG system can have your files and communications secure enough in no time. If you don't have the time or energy to do it on your own, we can help you confidently get it done. Just go on over to countyquest.com and sign up for a free 1-hour discussion with Arnie. He'll put your mind at ease and motivate you to get your environment in order and even customize it to facilitate all the work your employees do. And perhaps most importantly, you'll then have the confidence to use Copilot to put your operations on steroids. Remember, you don't want to be a laggard because that's no fun, and being a laggard might just put you out of business. With that, I'll leave you until next week's part 2 of this short series. This is Annie signing off.